So VR, at its core, is awesome. Also, it sucks. So let's talk about why it's awesome, why it sucks, and what the future might hold. That's right, I can tell the future. Here's next week's lottery numbers. If you win, you owe me half. Why I think VR is awesome. 1, there's actually a bunch of fun games. The first time I put on a headset was at VidCon 2017 because they had it set up at a creator lounge. My first game, Space Pirate Trainer. You take 2 guns and you shoot at drones. It was mind-blowingly awesome. I truly felt like I was in a different place. This was the VR I was promised. Die! And I got to play it a lot because hardly anyone else ever played it, which is a trend in VR, I've noticed. 8 years later, I have a PlayStation VR and a MetaQuest 2, and I've played Space Trainer a lot on this guy. Other games I've enjoyed. This mini golf game. Thank you. Thank you. No one's here. This actual golf game. I'm not even really a golfer. I don't know why I'm playing these golf games. Bonker, why don't you give me any advice? I Expect You to Die, an escape room-like spy game. Astrobots, a third-person platform jumper. Turns out VR can still be awesome when it's not in first person. Also, the songs during the cave levels. Ba 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 da da da. Ba 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 da da da. That's a bop. Wow, more people should be talking about it. Tetris VR, yeah, sounds stupid. It's actually awesome playing Tetris in VR. It's relaxing, it's meditative, shut up. Cubism, a fun 3D block puzzle game. Woo, pew, pew. Angry Birds VR, yes! It was fun for about 5 minutes. Job Simulator, hilarious. Destroy. Destroy. And perhaps my favorite VR game so far, Moss, another non-first person game. You control a little mouse and you go through different stationary stages and you solve puzzles. I played the mouse shirt out of that game and I love it. Good little mousey. Other good things about VR/XR, so I'm told. Wait, what the crap's XR? Let me do some quick vocab. You got your VR, your AR, your MR, and your XR. VR is virtual reality, which is engrossing yourself in a completely other world. AR is augmented reality, which is data layered over top of the real world. MR, mixed reality, which is the data interacting with the world. And XR is extended reality, which encompasses all of it. XR should probably be ER, but that sounds like the TV show, and Spielberg will sue you. I think he was a producer on that, right? I suppose I could call it spatial computing, but that's what Apple wants me to do. I'm not going to do everything Apple wants me to do. Obviously, Apple doesn't control my life. Okay, anyway, as I was saying. Other good things about VR/XR. Random experiences. Falling off a building. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, here we go. Okie dokie. Oh, God. Oh, there's a pad there. Oh, good. Extreme 360 VR roller coaster. I don't have any legs. Woo! Okay, not the same. Being eaten by a baby? Oh, God. Okay, so now I know what that's like. Whatever this is, what the hell is happening? So now I know what that's like. Mental health, meditation apps. Apparently it's used for therapy, PTSD, depression, facing your phobias. There's a game in which you are a cat that helps your brain be a cat. Mental health. There's an app that apparently helps you sleep. Haven't tried it. Sounds like a great idea for a video. And a great idea for a transition to thank the sponsor of this video, Beam, because they make Beam Dream, which is a delicious hot chocolate that helps me sleep. Pay no attention to my different colored shirt. You're experiencing mixed reality. As many of you know, I'm a terrible sleeper, which is weird because I'm perfect at everything else. Space pirates, being eaten by a baby, etc. It takes me a while to fall asleep and stay asleep, and because of this, me and sleep, we don't get along. We are not on speaking terms. We would not sleep together. Except now that I drink this luxurious, indulgent hot cocoa, it actually makes me want to go to sleep earlier instead of staying up watching reruns of Night Court or whatever. So now, Sleep and I, we sleep together all the time. Don't take my word for it. Well, you can take my word for it. I feel like we've established a level of trust. But I use the non-CBD version, and there's a CBD version, and that, in a clinical study, was proven to work. Okay? Also, since it's a hot dream summer, you can pour dream over ice, make dreamsicles. Or here's a recipe for Ninja Creamy Dream Ice Cream. Know what I mean? In honor of Labor Day, Beam is having one of their biggest sales of the year. So just click the link below or scan the QR code and you get 40% off. Discount will apply automatically at checkout, but the deal is only for a short time, so you better hurry it up. Okay, now back to the reasons why VR and XR are awesome. Sports watching. There's a recent Marquez Brownlee video in which he shows how it's one of the best ways to watch golf because you can see a 3D model of the entire course all at once and where the ball is going and stuff. This can also work for car racing, and this really does improve watching the game. Take it from me, someone who almost never watches golf or car racing. Learnin, 3D models, simulations, walking through a Wikipedia page to absorb it. I know everything! How to be a cat. I just knocked over the old lady. Oh my god. The old lady's dead. Social stuff, chat rooms, hangouts. There's a friend of mine who lives hundreds of miles away. For a while there, we were hanging out in Sports Bar VR, playing darts and pool and stuff. It was really fun, pretending to drink drinks and hitting our helmets with our controllers. That kind of faded, and most of the time when I hang out with friends remotely now, we just go on Zoom and we play Jackbox games. I don't really care about the social stuff. I would do more VR hangouts with friends, but nobody else has a VR system. Other uses? All the other possible stuff, including with AR and MR. I can conceive of ways that this could be super useful. Construction, medical stuff, cooking, maps, expanding your workspace. And my favorite one, uses we haven't thought of that are going to be amazing, in theory, if it's worth it to put a heavy thing on your face while you do the thing. Or eventually just glasses or contacts or brain implants if we ever get there. So, as you can see, VR is awesome. Perfect even. There are no flaws with VR. Everything wrong with VR /XR /spatial computing or whatever. Yes, there are a lot of problems with VR at this point, which could help explain why Meta is apparently losing billions of dollars and Apple Vision Pro has, according to some people, failed, even though it's unclear what the goal was to begin with. I think most people agree that these systems will get better. We're just at the beginning. But it's really slow going. VR has been around for decades. The first one was made in 1968 by Harvard professor Ivan Sutherland, and it was called The Sword of Damocles. I learned that by walking through a Wikipedia page. I know everything. But then I walked through another Wikipedia page that said it wasn't actually called The Sword of Damocles. That was just a fun nickname. It was actually called The Head-Mounted Display, which is a lot lamer. Oh, I know everything! Why do we have so much trouble naming things that have to do with VR /AR /MR /XR /spatial computing or whatever? But although it's been around for decades and millions of people have purchased it, it's still seen as this weird, new cutting-edge thing that it hasn't hit the mainstream, at least as much as Zuck wants it to. Why is that? 1. Expensive. Duh. The Apple Vision Pro is $3,500. This is a Quest 2, but the Quest 3 is $500. But yeah, $3,500 is a stupid amount. $500 is actually comparable to PS5, which is also $500, so as a video game system, not terrible. But if we're going to think of it as a video game system, number 2, not enough good games. Now, I don't know this for sure because I don't know about every game, and I'm sure some of you are going to tell me some of the great games. But every time I do a best games on Quest search or whatever, I find top 10 lists, and the same games have been there for 8 years. 6 to 8 years, not all of them have been around for 8 years. Super Hot, Beat Saber, I Expect You to Die, Moss. Some of them have Space Pirate Trainer. All of them should have Space Pirate Trainer. Except they shouldn't. We need new ones. And then a random first-person shooter. Take your pick. But at this point, in 2024, when I show VR to a friend, I show them Space Pirate Trainer because to me that's still the best example of what VR is to people who don't know. It's a very small, simple game, but everything works. It's intuitive, and it's nice. But it's 8 years old! Number 3, it hurts, or it can hurt. If I play for too long, I get a weird kind of headache, and it might have to do with just having the heavy thing on my head. It might have to do with eye strain. I'm not sure, but it is a weird headache that I only get playing VR too long. And I'm not someone who gets motion sick very easily. It's usually when it's a game where you move around without walking. So it's like a first-person shooter where you just control your character and you go, I'm gonna go this way, but you're not walking. After a while of doing that, me tum-tum hurts. So that's a problem that's got to be figured out, or at least taken into account when you design a game. 4, user interface awkwardness. Just simply navigating menus, pushing buttons can be weird and inconsistent and buggy. But think about how we all just kind of know how to navigate a phone or a MacBook or a PC because we all have kind of shared knowledge of symbols and how things are going to work just by looking at them. In the VR world, we're still figuring that out. There doesn't seem to be standards, and some of the things that at least the Quest does are pretty awkward. Like you basically use a laser pointer and point at buttons and then you click, but you're clicking with the pointer so it moves when you click and sometimes you miss. I'm exaggerating, obviously. I think for someone who's thinking about doing VR and they jump in, they might be very confused and then they're going to walk away and they're going to say VR sucks and I'm just going to go play with my dollies or something. I don't know. Because before VR, that's what I would do. I would play with my dollies. Like this one. Oh, little eagle. Are you a little eagle? Oh, ah! Ow. 5, it just takes more effort. At the end of the day, sometimes I just want to lay on a couch, watch TV, or play a game that just requires finger movements. If I want to play Space Pirate Trainer, if I haven't already, I have to clear out a whole space, set up a border, make sure that my dog's not going to get in my way, because you can't see a dog in the VR, and then I'm basically exercising. I might not want to be exercising. 6, it's isolating. This wouldn't have been a problem when I was sad and alone in my apartment by myself in my 20s, but now, living with my family, it's like, see you later, people I love. Boop! And you have a solo experience. I mean, you can talk to people in the metaverse or whatever, but that's not the same. I have fond memories as a kid playing video games with friends over, and we're all either playing the game together or people are watching as the next person takes their turn playing, and we're all sharing in the moment, in the experience. That's nice. Can't do that the way VR is right now. So those are the biggest obstacles that I can see that are keeping VR or XR from becoming big old mainstream. What is the future of VR/AR/MR/XR/spatial computing? So here's the things that I think need to happen to make VR better and bring in even more people, if that's what we want. And we do! I don't know. First, the obvious one, smaller, lighter, cheaper headgear. I'm sure this is what everybody wants. It's just that the technology's got to get better to get there. So the only option is cryogenic freezing so that you wake up farther into the future and then the VR is better. But like cryogenic freezing's got to get better for that too. You could travel close to the speed of light through space for a while. That will put you into the future as I understand it. Anyway, standardization of the user interface. We need to make everything much more user-friendly and obvious and easy to use, which is also something I'm sure everyone realizes, but come on, work on it. It seems the Apple Vision Pro does this pretty well. I've seen from reviews. It basically uses the same system that all the other Mac stuff uses, so you already kind of know how it works. And the eye tracking seems nice rather than the laser pointing, but apparently the eye tracking has its own problems. Eye tracking. Better games that don't make you feel sick. Feel like there's a glut of first-person mindset in VR, and it doesn't have to be that way. And be a little more sensitive to motion sickness. Maybe make a lot more games that don't require moving around without walking. Maybe there's something more technical about it that needs to get better that will fix the motion sickness. I don't know what that is, but it's a real problem. Now, I'm just theorizing here, but it feels like there's a lack of a flagship mascot game for VR systems. Like, you know, Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Sonic the Hedgehog, Crash Bandicoot. Games that culture could wrap their mind around, that were just really solid and really well done for the system they were built on. Maybe when Nintendo makes VR, it's really going to take off. But why not make a new, unique VR character with a VR story behind them? People like stories and characters. Aspiring VR game makers out there, let's collaborate. I'll write up something for you. It won't be good, but it'll get the ball rolling. Another idea, a better in-real-life experience. Make it easier for people who are in the same room to enjoy each other and the game at the same time. Right now, there's just not a lot of people with headsets, but I can imagine a world where you have friends over and you're all wearing helmets and you're sharing the same space and the same experience in person, but also virtual. Sounds nice. It doesn't seem like it's an easy thing to do right now. Any steps that can be taken to make it feel less isolating, that would be good. So all in all, I think VR, AR, MR, XR, spatial computing will continue to evolve, get better, and will gradually ingrain itself into our lives, probably meld it into the smartphone in some way, and it'll all be connected kind of the way the watch and the smartphone work together. And games will probably get better and probably involve one of those weird treadmills like in Ready Player One, or that weird system of balls on the ground that constantly move you to the center. Have you seen that? That looks interesting. I think it's going to take a lot longer than people like Zuck were hoping, but it'll probably happen eventually. I just hope I'm not dead before Zelda VR happens, because that'll be awesome! Imagine it. This is why I try to eat healthy and exercise, to stay alive for Zelda's VR. And then it'll probably suck. All that exercise and good health for nothing. So that's it. I blathered on about VR for a while. I hope that was entertaining for you. Ba 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 da da da. Ba 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 da da da. Ba 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 da da da. Ba 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 da da da.